Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video, I've got a bunch of great news for you. We're talking about RPCS3 and EggNS, kind of. Dolphin, Logitech, 8bitdo, and one of my favorite racing games getting a sequel. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about Logitech. Earlier on, Logitech announced a partnership with Tencent to make a gaming handheld that runs Android. Some people weren't a big fan of the partnership and a lot of people were skeptical. Well, it appears that Logitech and Tencent were pretty darn serious, because here's a first look at that brand new handheld, and that's the first look at the brand new UI. It kind of looks like the Switch, just a little bit. Now these images appear to be extremely popular. If you Google Logitech handheld, well, you're going to get more than a dozen sites showing these exact images. A lot of people are excited about it, a lot of people are talking about it, and these images do look real. We don't know the specs just yet, but I am optimistic. Since this is running Android and Logitech is slapping their name on it, chances are it'll be running a Snapdragon processor, which should be pretty darn good for emulation. I'm kind of curious to see the specs though. I want to know the RAM in this, I want to know the CPU in this, that's a huge one. And I also want to know the features. What kind of screen are they using? How are these buttons and joysticks going to hold up? This does look promising though from the initial images. Now I will leave a link to this article in the description below, so feel free to check it out. And also let me know whether or not you think these are analog triggers or digital triggers. It's kind of hard to tell from the image, but there is quite a bit of space there, and I'm hoping for analog. And speaking about analog triggers, next up here we're quickly talking about the AYANEO 2. Some more images of the AYANEO 2 have surfaced, and well, it's looking good. Very Steam Deck-like, very sharp, very sleek, and well, it's got analog triggers. We've talked about the AYANEO 2 in the past, and this thing is not messing around. It's going straight for the Steam Deck. I mean, it's going to be featuring an AMD 6800U processor. It's going to be a powerhouse. And speaking about AMD, next up here we're talking about AMD and Dolphin. Today AMD unveiled their brand new 7000 series of processors, and they are absolute beasts. They're going to be amazing for gaming. They're going to be amazing for pretty much everything. And interestingly enough here, when they were benchmarking them, they used Dolphin. Dolphin was pretty darn quick to catch this, and they tweeted out, "Dolphin is such an IPC-focused load that we're used for benchmarking. In the Zen 4 announcement, we were shown as a leading example of its IPC improvements." So here are the official Zen 4 versus Zen 3 benchmarking comparisons that AMD used in their official presentation. And if we take a look at the list, Dolphin is on it. In fact, it's right there at the very top, second from the top, plus 32%. In my opinion, this is huge news. It's amazing for emulation, for a big company like AMD to use an emulator, and more specifically a Nintendo emulator, to benchmark their CPU and present to the public. Well, that is awesome. And they didn't just mess around here, they compared it with a bunch of great things. We've got Passmark, Cinebench, Adobe Premiere, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and if I scroll all the way over here, we've got Dolphin. Next up here, we're talking about 8bitdo, or 8bitdo. Today, 8bitdo unveiled 3 brand new controllers. One is wired, it's $35, and it's compatible with Windows, Android, Raspberry Pi, and the Switch. There's a 2.4G one compatible with Windows, Android, and the Raspberry Pi, not compatible with the Switch, and this one's $50. And there's a more expensive one here, it's $70, it's fully Bluetooth, compatible with Windows, Android, the Raspberry Pi, and the Nintendo Switch. These controllers will be officially released on October 28th, and they are up for pre-order, and all of them come in a black and a white colorway, except for the 2.4G one. You can also get pink. All 3 controllers will support multiple profiles, and they will have those back paddle buttons. However, the most expensive version here, the $70 Bluetooth version, is a little bit special when compared to the other two. So the Bluetooth version is also compatible with 2.4G. The Bluetooth version also has a better battery. It's got a better battery life of 22 hours versus 15. And this one is pretty huge. The joysticks are Hall effect, so theoretically they should never drift. Now if you watch my videos, you'll know I'm a fan of 8bitdo. Generally they do D-pads right. Generally they do controllers right. And I'm probably going to be picking one up to review on this channel, and I've got high hopes for it. But I don't need a bunch of different controllers. I already have a whole bunch of controllers, so if I have to pick up one, Let me know your choice in the comments below. Next up here, we're talking about something hilarious and also kind of sad. The emulator that's been accused of ripping off other emulators has now been ripped off on the Google Play Store. There's a version of EggNS emulator on the Google Play Store. This is not real, and over 10,000 people have already downloaded it. Now, if you watch my channel, chances are you know I'm not a big fan of EggNS for a bunch of different reasons, and I've gone over them multiple times in the past. But they've been accused of taking Yuzu code, Ryujinx code, and Skyline code, bundling it up in a half-baked emulator that doesn't really work all that well and kind of cooks your phone in the process, and may or may not have malware in it, and sell it to you. And that's really not cool. They're taking open source work and in some cases semi-closed source work, and well, they're profiting off of it, and now someone is profiting off of them. Oh, the irony. And speaking about fake emulators, next up here we're talking about RPCS3 on the Google Play Store. This one is 100% fake. It contains ads, it's not going to work, and basically the developer of this is making money off of a fake app. There have been over 10,000 installs on this. In fact, there's another fake emulator here for the PS2, 3DS, and PSP, supposedly. It also contains ads, the developer is also making money off of this, and arguably this is just an old version of Aether SX2. Very interesting. And if you take a look at the screenshots here, the controller between this PS2 one and the PS3 one is virtually identical. So at this point in time, yes, we're basically playing whack-a-mole with fake emulators, and two of these are no laughing matter. This one is arguably no laughing matter as well, but also, well, it is what it is. So with all of that being said, there's a ton of emulators on Android. Sometimes if you're not experienced with emulators, it can be difficult to sort the fake ones from the real ones. I've got you covered. I've done a video on the best emulators on Android, and if you have any more questions, feel free to stop by my Discord and I'm sure someone will help you. Last up here, this is a pretty quick one. The sequel to one of my favorite racing games of late, Horizon Chase and Horizon Chase Turbo, called Horizon Chase 2, is about to be released. It's coming out for iOS on September 9th, which is super unfortunate because I don't have an iPhone, but it will be heading to consoles and probably Windows and Android in 2023. This game looks really good. I'm excited for it. The first one was great, Horizon Chase. Horizon Chase Turbo was also great. It was basically the exact same thing with a few extra goodies. And well, this looks like an expansion on both of them. And on a quick side note here, I think I said iOS, but I meant to say Apple Arcade, so I just didn't want to confuse you. Either way, Horizon Chase 2 looks amazing, and the music is done by the same person who worked on Horizon Chase, which is the same person who did the music for Top Gear on the SNES. As a bonus piece of news, if you're a fan of Capcom vs SNK 2 like I am, I'm a massive fan of that game, you're gonna like this news. The SNK producer says both parties are interested, meaning SNK and Capcom, for an SNK vs Capcom revival, or Capcom vs SNK revival. The exact quote was definitely in the future. That's something I think everybody on all sides in both parties are interested in making a reality. So no development has been worked on just yet. I would argue no serious conversations have been made just yet. And nothing has been agreed to just yet, except for the fact that they're both kind of interested. Capcom vs SNK 2 came out back in 2001, so quite a while ago. Nothing has materialized yet, and I wouldn't hold my breath that we're going to see anything soon. We've been waiting a while, and well, we'll be waiting a while longer. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. This was a pretty big video. We covered a lot. Let me know your thoughts on absolutely anything about it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.